Alrighty then. Welcome, Dungeon Plunger Union members. I have my +1 plunger, a cup of coffee flavored holy water, except today, you hear that? That's not coffee. That's Pepsi. I'm a big liar. That we're starting off the show great. And of course, oh, Pepsi Max, cup of solo. Our very special union member today to help plunge the dungeon and flush evil down the drain is Cup of Solo, rocking the Pepsi Max. I'm just doing regular Pepsi. Welcome to the show, Cuppa.
Thank you very much. Chin chin.
Chin chin.
Ugh, thanks for having me. I'm a union member from the UK, Wales specifically. So we have our red dragon mimics that we have to sort out.
Son of a bee. They come in all types, don't they?
They do.
So I believe I met you on Roleplay Rescue from the Discord there. I think that's the first place I met you. And
I
since
think
then,
so.
you've sort of migrated all over. Well, you were always at the I don't know if I'm going to say it right. Agranac. Is that how you say it? The
Yes,
yeah
Agronac Studios. Yeah,
yeah. So you're on that Discord. You're on the I think it's solo RPG players Discord,
yeah,
and
with PJ. Yeah,
yeah, PJ, pretty awesome dude. Got a great show of his own, and I was always intrigued because you have this cool little puppet dude as your icon.
I do.
And I was like, so I'm like, I need to know A, that and also that you're like deeply into solo gaming. So I was like, I need to have you on the show. I need to like, chit chat with you. And this is kind of continuing the series of me, just talking to like people who I think are cool, friends of the union, and getting to know people a little better and talking about nerd stuff. So
I'm
yeah,
glad you think I'm cool.
you are cool, man. Don't deny it. Trying to play it cool, man. So what's the background story with the puppet?
With the puppet, I've I've always been interested in puppets and puppetry, even at a young age. I remember having a this is going to sound so stupid, but we used to have a really bad Kermit the Frog puppet at home when I was maybe 5 or 6, and it used to give me nightmares because of how bad it looked.
Okay.
But then I embraced the fear and started watching horror movies from a very not suitable age. um, and I thought he's not so scary.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. So you want to can you show them to us for the
Uh,
viewers?
I, I can see if he's about.
Whoa. And what's
He
his
doesn't
name?
like me.
He,
Hello,
and what's his name? What's your name, bud?
my name's Kappa.
Ah, that makes a lot of
He stole
sense.
my name.
So what's do you have other friends or what's your story here?
All alone.
Oh man, that's kind of sad. So are
All right,
you
I've got OD&D.
okay? So are you like the real Cuppa or is like
Well,
when we're reading messages on Discord, is it you the puppet or is it actual like the human?
well, I tell him what to write, and then
Okay.
he writes it because I don't know if you noticed, my eyes aren't real,
Mm, that could be an issue.
and I've got floppy hands.
Mm, very cool, man. So now I'm a little like at a loss about how to address both of you. So, um, non-puppet Cuppa.
Hello. I'll just
Um,
go then, shall I?
so how did you and Puppet Cuppa meet?
Well, he was an old bedsheet that
Really?
I
Okay.
converted into a puppet.
Interesting. Okay. So how long ago? Okay, so all right, let's get the timeline straight here. Okay, so
Okay.
you're a kid, you have this puppet, it freaks you out, you've overcome your fear of puppets, and so at what point do you become like a puppet maker and I guess a puppeteer would be
Oh,
the term? Like, you're a
yeah.
teenager?
I don't class myself as a puppeteer because I'm no way professional. Because I'm making puppets out of bed sheets and ping pong balls
Okay,
and old coat hangers. But I just enjoy it. It's kind of a case of idle hands must play,
okay,
and I've always drawn mini comics. And when I started getting the arthritis in my hands, like
okay.
psoriatic arthritis, I needed something else to kind of occupy the hands. So that's how I got into it. But it was mainly it was a dormant thing that I had of puppeteering and puppeting. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, I think that works. And I joined the Agronac Discord and DM Wisdom with his amazing puppets like Zoff. Just
Right.
just twigged a memory, and I just fell back in love with creating again.
Interesting. So at what point did you get into the RPG scene? Like were you playing RPGs before you got really into like the creation of the puppeteers, the puppets and stuff, or was this sort of like a parallel kind of experience?
Yeah, I am trying to remember. I think what I started off with, I don't know if you can call it an RPG, but it was books like Fighting Fantasy
Okay.
and Endless Quest. That was the first time I ever saw D&D was Endless Quest, and I remember which book it was. It was The Revolt of the Dwarfs by I think it was Rose Estes. I think I'm
Okay.
probably
Interesting.
butchering the name,
No, that sounds right.
but it was just you, well with Fighting Fantasy you roll dice to determine certain outcomes, but with Endless Quest it was like go to page brr, 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 and you go to the
Okay.
page, you won't like the outcome, and you'd go back to the page you were and choose a different route because I think that's how everyone plays choose your own adventures.
Yeah. I mean, I remember as a kid doing the choose your own adventures line of books, and I remember we had to fight all the time in the library to like get them because they were so popular by everybody. um and I don't know if it
Elbows up.
was, yeah. And I don't know if it was like Steve Jackson or one of the other, like if it was a fighting fantasy, I'm not sure, but I just remember there was one where it was like you had a D6 and you kind of made a little character and you went through the thing, and I remember it was like you had to infiltrate this city, and it was like some kind of Dark Lord city or something like that, and I never I don't remember what the name of the book is, and I don't remember if that's what it was exactly, but it felt like a novel thickness to me when you know whereas the choose your own adventures were pretty thin like books.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I was thinking of was City of Thieves,
Okay,
but that's
maybe,
Ian
yeah,
Livingstone.
it could be even Ian
Might
Livingstone.
be that, or maybe one of the Lone Wolf
Okay,
books,
yeah,
maybe,
maybe.
or Fabled. Well, Fabled Lands was much later, but
Yeah, this would have been in like late 80s, early 90s kind of thing.
mm, sounds
Um
cool though. Like
yeah,
infiltrate a city and
yeah. So, okay. So one of the things that uh I find interesting is that you're like super big into solo role playing.
Yeah,
Um, so you go from like the choose your own adventure style novels, and then at what point do you go into like solo role playing? Because I mean that is a type of solo role playing for sure. But
yeah.
like when do you go into the more what we see as like a traditional sort of like pen and paper art, like traditional RPGs that you play on your own?
Oh man, I think there was a long time that I stopped playing board games and choose your own adventure books, and I just went off the radar. Got in a punk band,
Oh wow, okay,
got
cool.
way too drunk, had to stop drinking, and uh, and then along with drunkenness and stupid mistakes, lost a lot of friends. So I was all by myself, and I
Okay.
stumbled across. I was just, I think I was sat, I was just in a bit of a rut, and I came across a file on a PDF on, I can't remember what website it was, but it was called Bivius. I don't know if you've heard of that.
I have not.
Okay. It's a binary solo system.
Okay.
You can do it with coins, dice, sticks,
Oh wow. Okay.
and it's two options, either option A or option B.
Got you.
Yes, no, higher, lower. And that's it.
Okay.
So, and that's, I just got into that, and I started just messing about with it with a little journal, which I don't know where that journal's gone now. It's probably in the recycling
Hmm.
in some landfill somewhere, but
So
but that's what got in. That's what got me into it, and then I stumbled across what video was it? It might have been Dungeon Craft, maybe.
okay,
Might have been a video, like one of his early videos.
like Professor Dungeon Master.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, interesting. I I too had I went through like a heavy drinking era, and
Yeah.
I don't drink anymore either now. Um, I kind of feel like, I don't know if this is a subject that you want to get into or not, but I
I'm an open book. I might be a bit too open. I've, I wear my heart on my sleeve. You can ask away. I might just go if it gets uncomfortable, but
sure.
no, I won't.
Um, okay. Well, we won't delve too deeply into it, but I I never thought that I had a like a problem, right? Because I wasn't like violent. I was that guy like, "Hey dude, I love you, man."
Yeah,
And I just,
yeah. You never realize, do you? You never think that. Oh, I don't have a drinking problem
yeah.
until you realize, oh, I've got a drinking problem.
Yeah, I always for me it was like a social lubricant, right? I felt
Hmm.
like I needed to drink in order to like have a good time, that people wouldn't like me if I was sober. Um and like I even like we would drink, or not all of us, but there was a handful of us that would drink when we were actually like gaming at the table. And inevitably there was occasions where I got like so wasted that A, I couldn't play anymore, or B, there was a couple of times when I got belligerent about something, um, and probably something stupid, and then it ruined the game, I'm sure, for them. But at the time, I didn't, recognize that I was kind of being destructive that way. Um, and it always feels weird. Like, I don't know if you've ever had this experience, um, because I feel like drinking is so much a part of our culture, like how we celebrate things, whether they're like victories or whether they're like special occasions, like birthdays and anniversaries and Christmas
Waking
or
up.
Yeah. And and like people would be like, "Oh, dude, you don't drink like not even like you don't even have a drink or not even sometimes." And I'm like, I don't know if you understand what the not drinking thing means. Like, have you encountered that yourself?
Oh, the kind of peer pressure is like, go on, it's only one drink, it won't
Yeah.
hurt you. No, it will. I'll stick with my cup of tea, thanks.
Yeah. I I've also I've also had like nightmares. Like I where like in my dream I've been drinking and I kind of wake up with this like, oh my God, I ruined it. Like I've been on this streak for so long that there's this fear of like ruining what I've done so far. And I feel like um I don't know because like I just kind of stopped on my own. I didn't go through some kind of a process or anything like that.
No,
And I
I
think
was the
that there's
same. I just went, nah,
yeah.
yeah, not for me.
And I was like and kind of like going with that, it was kind of like a situation of being like, well, like I'm an a-hole no matter whether I drink or not. So I'm gonna prove it to you. Um, but
If I'm
yeah,
gonna be
man,
an asshole, I'm gonna be a sober asshole.
exactly. But yeah, I have realized that now that yeah, that's something I can't do. And yeah, I feel it does make me feel like a little bit less of a person because of that. Like somehow I'm incapable of like, being an adult like other people are. Uh,
Mm. Yeah, it's like you said, it's ingrained in our culture. It's like, especially here in the UK, there's like a pub pretty much every corner, and everyone's drinking and going, "Hey," getting all laddie and
right.
come have a drink, come have a pint. No, just
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. So you start on this solo scene. At what point do you move on to like other styles of games?
I it might be the whole obsessiveness, kind of not obsessiveness, just you go into the rabbit hole and you see how deep that hole goes.
Right.
Just swimming through all these different systems. But uh, yeah, I've found a lot of free ones like Basic Fantasy and
Okay.
what's on my shelf? I've got a lot. Uh, Call of Cthulhu. I've got the DCC, um, Rune Quest, Old School Essentials, Easy D6. I've got more over here as well. Uh, Mjukborg. How do you say it? Morkborg.
I
Mjuk
feel like
Fury.
I feel like you said it right the first time.
It's because of the umlauts on top of the
Yeah.
O.
I also feel like because you're closer to Sweden than I am, that you have the ability to like you've probably met a real Swede in your life, and that's probably totally incorrect. But I just like to think that like everybody in Europe is like right beside each other, and
Pretty much. I mean, we
and
did have Vikings try and take over near where we lived, and there's a place in North Wales called Orme,
okay.
and uh, it's basically named after what the Vikings named a mountain because they thought it was a sea serpent.
Oh, that's cool, man.
They tried invade. This is from my memory, so don't quote me, but apparently they tried to invade on a misty Welsh cold night, and this shadow of this serpent-looking mountain appeared, and they went, "Nope," and went back.
That's awesome. That's the best story ever, man. I yeah, I probably wouldn't want to do it either. Or maybe they were like, "Hey guys, you know what we could be doing instead? We could be going out, you know, drinking and partying and stuff instead of trying to like, we'll just tell them this story about a serpent. This sounds legit that people will buy it.
Yeah, we'll go back heroes.
Um, okay, so talking about your experiences role playing, like solo role playing, what are the like how would you suggest to somebody to like get involved in the hobby of solo role playing?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, I would say pick a system that you're really interested in. Normally, the simpler is the better for solo because there's less fiddly things until you start getting comfortable with the more crunchier stuff like Harn Master, for example.
Okay.
But I would say just get a D6 and do a yes no oracle to
Okay.
decide certain things. And if you need word prompts, just grab a book. Like, I don't know, I've just grabbed The Broken Land and uh, Smile, Sun, and see
Okay.
if that works in the whatever. It would have to be in the concept of the of what you're doing at that time. Like, say, oh, I'm searching a chest. What's inside the chest? And you randomly pick a book, pick two words. That's one way. Another way. Uh, Sometimes, well, I'd say there's a lot of systems out now that have solo rules in it, like Dragonbane, for example, which is a great solo um, system within it. So I'd say just keep it simple and work up from there. It's not a very good answer, but that's the answer I've got. I
So what is it about Dragonbane though do you feel makes it such a great system for solo?
think it's the roll under. Everyone, you can, it's so easy. D20 under that skill.
Okay.
Easy. Everyone knows that you don't have to add anything, you don't have to subtract anything. It's just, oh, I've got a 10 in climbing. I roll my d20. I either do it or I don't.
Right.
Simple.
Got you. What would you say about people who would be like, well, dude, you kind of like what kind of a person plays like it's already sad playing role-playing games. Now you're playing role-playing games by yourself. What's wrong with you? Like I feel like that attitude has definitely changed in the last little while.
Oh,
Like solo
no,
role-playing
oh,
has really
definitely.
become a pretty popular style of playing, RPGs these days. But let's say that somebody wasn't as enlightened as you and I. How would you respond to that kind of criticism?
Uh, my response, my honest response would be like, cool, good for you. You have an opinion.
Um, so right now you're running Caverns of Thracia solo.
Yes.
What's that experience been like? And how do you, because I feel like there's something about um like running solo, and maybe I'm off base on this, but I feel like there's this like need to have to record everything that happens, whether you're doing it, like voice recording or physically like journaling stuff, whether that's like through I think you use some sort of an app. I can't remember. I know it's PUM, but I don't
Oh,
remember what it stands for.
yes. The plot unfolding machine.
That's it. Because that records what you do, right?
Yeah, I've been looking for years for something that I could do on my phone or on my tablet because of the lifestyle that I have. I've got three kids. I've got a partner. My partner's autistic.
Okay.
My middle son's autistic. I've got an elder, a 15-year-old teenager. We all know what that's like,
Hmm.
and a 5-year-old daughter. So
Yeah.
I have to be there in case someone demands. You know, it's like
Yep.
it's always demands. It's never what
Yep.
you want.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. So, like, basically what you're saying is that using the plot unfolding machine is something that gives you that flexibility to be able to kind of play when you have a little bit of time here and there to like do
Yeah,
stuff. And
yeah, especially on the app because I can play for 10, 15 minutes until someone comes in and say, can you come and help me? Okay, turn the phone off, go help. Sit back
right,
down, go back 10, 15 minutes. Can you come? Okay.
right.
Rinse, repeat.
Because I think like I've done a little bit of solo role playing, but I haven't really done as much as I've wanted to. And I think one of the things that keeps happening to me, and I'm sure I'm not alone in this, is this sense of needing a lot of time. Like I need to set aside an hour. And I feel like um obviously I haven't had very much success sitting down to like play the game, right? So I I don't know. I almost wonder if these like micro sessions are really the way to go in general.
Definitely,
I mean,
definitely.
obviously everybody's
It's
lives are a little bit different, but um it seems like more the I hear more stories about people being able to having successful, if you want to, if you can say that,
yeah,
solo sessions is because they're doing them in more of like a micro dosing kind of way than doing them in what we would consider to be like the traditional like, oh, you sit down for 2 hours and you play the game and then you go home and
yeah. That's I think that's one of the main problems with people starting off solo is like they try and compare it to a live table, and it's not the same. Similar, but it's way way different because at a live table you've got other people you can bounce ideas off. You're constantly moving the story along, but when you're on your own, you don't have uh, that to do. You can. That's why I always say I'll just do 15 minutes. Just play for 15 minutes, even if it's just reading some rules. That's still play.
right.
Make a character sheet. That's play. You're just thinking about it. That's play. Just 15 minutes. Just do it in little chunks like that. It don't go, I'm going to have a 4 hour session like I do at the table. No, you'll burn yourself out.
You know, that makes a lot more sense now why that's like such a I don't know what the word is, but like I guess kind of like a mantra of the
Mm,
solo kind of mindset is that everything is considered to be play
yeah.
is, to like maximize sort of like these individual moments, and consider it to be like, yes, I am solo role playing. I am doing stuff, whether it's, because I
Mm,
think again, and I almost wonder if like, t I almost wonder if because it's called solo role playing, we continue to confuse it with traditional role playing. And so we really need to have like that mindset change that like
mm,
really these are like kind of almost two different hobbies. And as a game master, you spend a lot of time alone prepping, reading rules and prepping the game for your next session and making NPCs and plots and all the rest of that kind of stuff. And so we don't really consider that to be playing. We consider that to be prep.
mm.
And it's only when we sit down with our group to play that we actually call it play. And I wonder if like even in if in like the traditional sense, if like we sort of change that idea of like, hey, like, hey, dude, you're a game master and you're prepping for a game, but you're still playing whatever it is that you're doing, and
Yeah.
stop thinking about it as like homework and start thinking about it as playing. And maybe that attitude shift might change the way you approach the game. I don't know. What do you think about
Yeah.
that?
No, I totally agree. It's like when you pick up a new rule system, and normally if you're the one that buys it, you're the one that's going to run the game. So you have to learn the game. So you go, okay, how does character creation work? And you kind of mess about, make your own characters. Yeah, you're prepping because you're learning how to do it, so you can tell your players how to do it. But it's still kind of solo playing, even
That's
if
true.
the GM mind isn't thinking about that. But I would recommend any GM to do some solo role playing because you could have make a session from nothing, have a little adventure with your own little group of characters, and then you've made an adventure for your
Hmm.
players.
That's actually pretty smart. I never thought about that. But it does give, I could see how doing something like that would give your world a sense of verisimilitude,
Mhm.
where it's like, yeah, well, these other characters went out. This is what happened to them. You can talk about, the legends of whatever, or yeah,
Or
man,
use them as
this,
NPCs.
yeah,
They
like,
maybe the players kind of meet them, and you can role play your characters that you've made to your players.
yeah,
And then when you prep for the next session, you've got some extra work to go with your own solo game.
yeah, no, that's really fascinating. I really like that idea. I never really thought about that. Wow. I'm gonna try that. I'm definitely gonna try that. I've been on the Dungeon Plunger Discord. I've been kind of talking a little bit about starting a West Marches campaign,
Hmm.
like a traditional West Marches where it's like very player driven. The players, you know, get a bunch of group adventure, like get a bunch of players together. They have a mission. They go out and do the mission and kind of like ask the GM, like, "Hey, dude, like I would set a like time period or hey, are you available during this time period? This is when we can all get together," and then running it like that. And I don't know. I could see how that would work really well in that sense, in the idea of like, because West Marches in my mind seems to be a very much a game about exploration. So
Yeah.
having another group of NPCs that are also going out to explore, and then they come back with that sort of that knowledge, because I feel like you really need to have stuff like the game is predicated on information, right? And so
Mm.
by having good rumors and like, you know, hooks to kind of give the players is what's going to like generate, the that sense of like, I want to go out and explore myself and see, can we find what these guys found, or can we get
Mm.
further than where they were, or what the hell were they even talking about, man? Like, what if they were lying to them? Um,
Yeah, the way I see West March is it's kind of like you set up a base camp in a keep or some kind of village or city, town, wherever. Doesn't It's irrelevant where it begins or where the central point is, but you want that one tavern with a giant wooden table where adventurers come in and carve parts of the map.
yeah,
And
that
then when someone comes in, they go, "Oh, that's new."
exactly. And that's basically what I'm trying to go for, right? Is that, the town is safe, but it's basically like an information gathering, resource. And then, the players come with their idea of like, this is what we want to do, and then they do it, right? So there's no adventuring in the town. Um, and I feel like now, I have enough friends online that I feel like this is something that I could actually like do. Whereas before, I didn't really play online.
Mm.
Um, and like now I've really sort of embraced online playing. It's become, I think it maybe not so much in this day and age, but earlier on in my kind of career as a gamer, I was like, this is weird. This is you lose a lot talking to people online and um not being able to like be in the same room with them and
Mm.
um so going back to solo, talking solo and stuff, there's a lot of talk all the time. A lot of talk all the time. I don't know, that doesn't sound right. There's often a discussion about oracles. There's often a discussion about spark tables and
Maybe.
cards and different things. Like what do you, because I feel like that's another one of those kind of like pincer points where
Mm.
people get hung up on and you feel like, oh, well, I need to have the right oracle and I need to have the right tables and I need to have where do you stand on that and what do you suggest for people both like kind of like new players and then also maybe more like the veteran kind of people.
That's that's the thing. It's there are so many oracles and like spark tables and just everything. There's a lot of analysis paralysis when it comes to solo role playing, especially getting started. But I just what would be the good thing? I would suggest this beast, but it's a bit pricey.
Mm,
It's the Fate Mill.
I love that thing. That thing
It's,
it's so beautiful, man.
I mean, compared to a
So
normal D20,
so
it's
for the
giant.
people who are listening, so you
Yes.
got take your regular D20 and then multiply that by probably like 10, maybe not 10. I don't know.
Oh, maybe.
It's like almost like the size of the Fate Mail is like almost the size of like a D20 size golf ball kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And it sounds heavy. I'm gonna roll it. I don't know if you can
yeah,
hear
let's
it.
do it.
Don't
Yeah,
know if you heard that.
I heard it.
Oh,
It's
oh.
it's nice. Yeah, that's a beautiful piece of technology for solo. Do you have some of the other dice that guy on? Because it's from Etsy. I don't know what the
Yeah,
name of the.
I've got these NPC ones, which I forget what they're called.
Okay,
But it you just it's just got little markings on it, like a speech bubble, as a wing, it's a heart. What else we got? I don't even know what that is. Squiggly lines. Uh, it's a pouch and a skull. So
okay.
you can roll that to get a determination of what the character's like. But
Can you
you
give
don't
me?
you don't really need them. I would suggest looking into the Beck Me, the basic by Frank Menzer, because there is a great reaction chart on there.
Okay,
So two, it's I've used that a lot, and if
like
that's a bit too, sorry, go on.
like for not for non back me games you've used it, you mean?
Oh yeah,
Or yeah, okay.
just that's how do I explain solo? There isn't really a right uh, choice. You just got to shop around, and once you get that, once you find something that works for you and
Okay.
use it, um, I would recommend an easy one. I've got so many oracles and so many crap,
No, but
but
that's why I ask because to me I feel like this is one of those things, right? That's
mm,
um like it's so overwhelming to me. I
oh,
have and I bought so many books and this I think the thing that I find so ridiculous is the amount of time and money that I've invested in solo uh for the amount of time that I've actually played solo is absolutely ridiculous. And I
yeah,
feel like I got to stop buying stuff and start doing more with what I have because I feel like I
uh,
already have more than enough. Um, and not to mention, I feel
it's a,
like people who listen to my podcast must think that I'm always trying to sell them stuff, like I'm some sort of salesperson being like, "Oh yeah, the stuff is so rad, go buy it." And I'm like, "Listen, I don't even
Look
get
at this dice.
yeah,
Look,
okay.
only $30.
So for this week,
Buy it
everybody,
now.
go buy the Fate Mill. Your life is going to be dramatically improved. Your bank account,
You
not
can
so
use it.
much, but
Yeah, you
you
can
will
use
never
it for
be able to
everyday
so.
life as well. It's like, do I pay the bills today?
Exactly.
No and K.
There you go. I feel like that's how life should be. It should be like, okay, do I answer the phone? Especially because people don't call anymore, right? What
No
is,
and. That's what I just rolled.
oh shit. Not only do you not answer the phone, but you should go and
You
punch
throw it out
somebody.
the window.
Throw it out the window. That's a much better. See, this is why you are a great solo role player because that makes much more sense than what I was going to say.
It's just like, I'm not answering it and I'm going to punch someone.
Yeah.
Whoever
Um,
answers that door.
so kind of to like recap. So basically what you're saying is like, okay, so playing solo is sort of like a personal experience.
Yeah,
Um, and that we got to you just kind of got to do it and feel your way through it until you've come up with a system that works for you. Can
yeah,
you
exactly.
could you talk a little bit about kind of like how you would go about doing like one of your sort of scenarios? Like let's say the next, kind of you're ready to do the next step of your Caverns of Thracia
Hmm.
scenario. Can you kind of talk about like what does that 15 minutes or so look like to us as listeners?
Um, oh, putting me on the spot now.
Like
It's
I don't
solo, not
necessarily mean to like
no,
tell us what's going to happen
no.
in
I
that, but more like the process behind it.
yeah, I'd read through the last couple of sentences of the last session, and I would go, okay, they're in this situation. How do they feel about this? And I've got little personality traits for the characters, so I
Okay.
know what they're going to do. So I've only got two characters alive at the moment from Cabins of Frisia. But there's the cleric who is kind of wants to help everyone, so she's loyal, and then there's a fighter who is called Silence, and thought, well, she's a mute and she is indifferent, so she'd kind of go along with whoever. So I'd roll on an oracle, let's say, like just a simple yes no. It's like, do they continue on in the dungeon or do they get the hell out of there and regroup and get new people? And I'd roll or click button wherever I'm doing it. And if it says, well, do they carry on? And it says no, okay, they leave and they'll carry on. And if I'm being lazy, I'll just say, okay, they're going to go back to the boat that they came on. It's going to take X amount of time. I'll roll that many encounters. And if they encounter one, then I'll role play that because not necessarily that the encounter is going to be just combat, even though
Right.
Caverns of Phrygia has been because of the dice and the oracles have always said they're hostile. So you kind of got to go where the dice lay.
Right.
And but it could have gone the other way. They could have been friendly. It's like, hey, how's it going? And I would just have a think of what I like putting a narrative spin on it, just for my own amusement.
Hmm.
Well, not amusement, but for my own reason. I like to, if I write dialogue, their personality comes out more
Right.
to me personally when I'm soloing. It's not everyone's cup of tea to do it that way, but that is basically how I solo roleplay.
So, which version of Caverns of Thracia are you using?
I am using the Goodman Games I'm using. It's not technically Caverns of Frasier. It's one of the adventures called Beneath the Isle of the Serpents, I
Okay.
think.
Is that like a
And
free RPG day thing?
yes, yeah, they posted it. They put it on drive through. You can download it free, and it's set in one of the archipel. I can't even say it. One of the islands on near Frasier. I thought, oh, that'd be a good if they go there and then head to Frasier to find the ruins and the caverns. But it turned out to be a lot more deadly than I thought.
So is that are you using fifth edition for that or is it
Now I'm using DCC.
oh, okay, okay. Interesting. So for the when you're talking about like the personalities that these characters have, where did you get that from?
I think it was from Burged, maybe, or Savage Worlds, something like that. Uh,
Okay.
I just like the idea of giving them just a little bit extra instead of just numbers on
Right.
a piece of paper.
Right. That makes a lot of
Just like
sense.
yeah, it's like okay, they're an amputated, angry, bald, old man. It's like okay, so he's angry and he's just a few keywords that'll help with the prompt.
Okay. And then so do you, depending on the type of game that you're deciding
Hmm.
to run, like in this case, you're using Dungeon Crawl Classics.
Oh,
If you were going to
well,
do a,
I'm using the DCC adventure, but I'm actually using BX.
oh, okay, okay. So does the type of game system, which was basically going to be my question was, does the type of game system that you're playing change the sort of techniques that you're going to use in terms of like the solo side of things?
Um, Not personally, no. I kind of go through the same way of doing it. I suppose it depends on how crunchy the game is, but I haven't played that many crunchy games. Uh, it's normally 2d6 games,
Right.
like very little math. So it's a lot more narrative driven, whilst with a crunchier game, it's more like, okay, they do this and that, and then you have to do. But no, I don't think I, no, I think I stick to the same uh, way of doing it, unless it's depending on the theme of what I've put on the game. If it's horror, then I'll play into that horror. If it's more pulp action, then I'll play into that.
Okay. Interesting. So I'm just kind of trying to figure out where to go from here. I didn't actually like write out sometimes I
No, no.
sometimes I write out like a list of questions to ask and stuff. And today I decided for this particular thing, because I feel like some people, um, or I've heard complaints that some people are like, "Oh, dude, you're not you don't do the show like you're always doing interviews now, and you don't really talk about stuff like you don't talk about your life and all that kind of stuff." And so I was trying to bring it with this particularly trying to bring it back to kind of like the older way, but at least having
Hmm.
kind of like having like a co-host kind of thing. Um,
Okay.
and so I was trying to be a little bit more free form with things. And I just
Oh,
kind of like
yeah.
those were the two things like the puppeteering and solo were like the two things that I thought were particularly interesting. Um, do you have
It turns
are
out I am not interesting.
no, you are very interesting. It has been enlightening to like learn how you do it and the things that like how you approach the game. Um, are there things that when it comes to solo that you're like, dude, why don't people talk about this? Like we hear about oracles and we hear about
Hmm.
this and that. Are there things where you're like, Why do they never talk about this stuff?
Uh, yeah, it seems to be like what I've noticed, especially on Reddit, is like you'll see people go, "Oh, I want to start solo role playing. Where should I start?" And you'll get about 20 answers saying Iron Sworn, Starforged. And that's not a terrible idea, but when people pick up this 300 book tome and
Mm-hmm.
go, "What am I? What? Moves? What?"
Mm,
And that is not the right way of doing it, I don't think. Um, I the I don't know. You've got to kind of go back to when you were a kid playing cops and robbers or that kind of mentality, or a simple game like Four Against Darkness. That's a great start because it's all there. It's all routine. You know exactly what to roll, and you don't need to do any of the role playing. You can
right.
just role play. But once you get a bit more comfortable saying, I wonder what they're, wonder what they're thinking, that's when the role play kind of starts getting in. Once you get have that aha moment of, oh, it's not just rolling dice, I can make a narrative and then go, oh, they've done something that might trigger this kind of situation in whatever system you're running. But I think one thing people don't talk about, oh, that's a hard question. It's because the irony of solo role playing is that it's a great community where everyone kind of chips in. So you're not truly solo. But I I would say my top advice for solo role playing is this right here that I'm just thinking of right now is just do it, which isn't very good advice. Just do it.
I think what I really like about what you just said, um, besides the just do it part, because I think you're right. I mean, you should just do it. But I think what I like is how you went back, or you're saying that you should harken back to this idea of what it was like when you were a kid to play, to play pretend. And I remember setting up. I had like a bunch of army dudes, and I had a bunch of like GI Joes, and I had a bunch of like Lego dudes and all sorts of different stuff. And I would build these like massive bases in my room of like, a combination of like Lego walls and like I'd make hills out of blankets and have them, I took wire like electrical, like very thin electrical wire, and I would wrap it around pencils and like lay it out like it was barbed wire and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I'd have a big battle after, but it would take me like an hour or something just to set up all this stuff. And just setting it up, I'd be like, oh yeah, this guy's gonna go, little bazooka guy is gonna go up here, and sniper dude, oh, this is the perfect place for him. And just the act of like setting this up was like fun. And I didn't have the like understanding at that time about how to like actually play out the battle in a way that would be satisfying to me.
Yeah, it's
Um,
just a free form of just
yeah,
like chasing like oh
exactly. But I had fun doing it nonetheless. Um, and so I think that like when I first started to like actually, play Dungeons and Dragons, the first time that I was invited to play Dungeons and Dragons, it was kind of a disappointment because like I was super excited. I was like, "Oh yeah, you could do." They were like, "Oh yeah, you could do anything you want." And I made this barbarian and he was super awesome. He had like, I imagined him in my mind. He was like, at that time I wasn't really so much into like I want to role play my character as much as I just wanted to kill shit with a big sword and be this kind of like pseudo Conan the Barbarian type dude,
yeah, murder hobo. That's how you
right?
start.
Yeah, and I mean, and then you kind of like you encounter the rules and you're like, what the hell is this? Like this doesn't feel like pretend anymore. Like this doesn't like, oh, what do you mean you can't? What do you mean wizards can't use swords? Like that is the most
It's like,
ridiculous thing.
look at Gandalf.
Yeah, right? And even within the fiction itself, there's things sometimes that are like so counter. Like how come Dungeons and Dragons is so crappy at running certain styles of games? Like if you wanted to do Lord of the
Mm.
Rings, even though there's a shit ton of Lord of the Rings that's inside D&D, you can't really do that style of game
Especially
justice.
OD&D with hobbits.
But I mean, um so I don't know, man. Like I think you're onto something when you say that we kind of need to go back to this like more primal, youthful person who we were in our,
Yeah.
and play from that kind of angle rather than
But then roll dice for the outcomes. You
yeah.
don't even need a system really. You can you can just have, oh, I'm gonna have two different colored D6s. One
Hmm.
is the good guy, one is the bad guy. Whoever rolls higher, they win. But
See, and that would have changed my army men battle totally, you know?
then you're wargaming.
Yeah. So I could kind of see how role playing came out of wargaming in
Mm.
that sense. Um, yeah, I didn't even know about like wargaming as a kid either. Like I didn't I
I
never
I got big into Warhammer in the early 90s.
okay.
I had this massive undead army with this zombie dragon with a lich ride on it. It was awesome. Where are my figures gone?
Oh no.
Yeah.
It's like life's regrets, man. You know,
Mm.
I had an original box. So I would say like the first sort of kind of like sense that I was really role playing was when I started with the Hero Quest
Mm.
box, and I felt like I was on the cusp of something there.
The
Um,
original one or the
yeah, no,
one
the
that they
the original one,
that
and
cover,
I
the
ended
box
up.
cover.
It is. It's like a classic piece of art. And now I don't have it anymore. Like I have the remake of it, which is still a
Yeah, same.
beautiful it's still a beautiful box, but I mean, it's not it doesn't have the same feeling as what that original game had to it. And I'm like, why did I let that go? When I look at the prices of it now, I just hang my head
Make
in
you
shame.
cry. Yeah. Uh, those old Games Workshop, those Citadel models, the plastic ones I used to get with it.
Yeah.
But why did they? One thing about Hero Quest, why did they change the femurs? It was like the Cyclops creatures, and they changed them to like deep ones.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird.
Hmm. I don't mind deep ones because I do like me some Cthulhu,
There we go, man.
but
That's beautiful. I love that
yeah,
statue.
I'll get it close.
Perfect.
And then I have a child-friendly version for the little one.
Nice. That's cute.
But yeah, I don't mind the deep ones. I I think it's great. But it was something about those famous the Cyclops ones that just I don't know. It was more pulp kind of Conan-esque.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I also really liked the demon guy with the big wings and everything like that, and the kind
Oh,
of
the
like sword and
gargoyle.
yeah. It's like, and he was always useful every time. So I remember when I started playing third edition D&D, I had raided the box just to use them as minis and stuff. And so he always ended up being like a big bad guy at some point in a fight, um, whether he looked like that or not, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, you could use that one for anything. It's like, oh, there's a dragon. Bang.
Exactly. Exactly. So, what has been your favorite experience like solo role playing? What was one of the things that has happened where you were like, "Wow, that was really amazing. I can't believe that this I had this experience."
I can answer this. I played. I did a solo September, which I played every day in September, playing a week of a different system. I started
Okay.
with Pendragon. I ended up with Tales of Argosa,
Okay.
and there was two systems in that month that really blew me away. First one was Trophy Dark. I
Interesting.
don't know if
Okay.
you
I've
have you
heard of
heard of
it.
that system.
I've heard of
Hmm.
it. I'm not really familiar with it, but
It's a horror fantasy game,
okay.
and Trophy Dark is more for one shots because you will die or go insane. So it's kind of like Cthulhu, but fantasy. And I just ran one of the adventures that was in the. I've got the PDF. I don't have the book, but one of them it was kind of like Wizard of Oz, but
Okay.
a lot more messed up.
All right.
Then it had like content warning saying body
Really?
horror, cannibalism, blood.
Is it content warning or hell yeah, I'm down for this content?
So that is my jam. I'm gonna play that whilst watching Cannibal Holocaust. And the second system was Tales of Argosa.
Okay,
What
interesting.
a system. Oof. I enjoyed that. I found some old actual D20 like way back, like the from the D20 days of Conan adventures converted into D20 adventures.
Okay.
And I found the Tower of the Elephant. I was like, yep, yes, I want to be a little thief climbing into this tower.
That's so interesting. So what is it, what was it exactly about the two systems that struck a chord with you as opposed to the other ones?
Um, with Trophy Dark, I am a horror fan, and I like whenever I do GM, believe it or not, even though I am cup of solo, but I do GM on Saturdays, and I like throwing in horror and Gonzo,
Okay.
and we've dubbed it as Gonzo Dark. So
Nice.
I like that element of it being so horrific that it's almost hilarious, if that makes sense.
Yep.
It's like this would never happen in the real world, but because it's so over the top and horrific. But like with Trophy Dark, there was one character that was turning slowly into bark,
Oh wow.
and another one thought that the other two characters that I had were part of her imagination.
Okay.
And it was only one that kind of kept it together until the very end, where he just lay down and the one character turned into a fully bark tree man, didn't move, and the woman, because she thought everything wasn't real, started eating him.
Oh my God. That's
And it was
amazing.
kind of like the wizard behind the curtain of Oz. It was just this fey creature that's just been messing with them, and
Wow.
then just went back behind the curtain, just laughing.
That's really creepy. That's awesome, man. I like that. So
But
what it
I
what
don't know what it was. It was, I think, it was the whole uh, folk horror side of it because I love folk horror, especially like The Wicker Man is one of my all-time favorite movies,
okay.
and because I live in rural North Wales where I'm just surrounded by trees and just I could imagine it because you go into this forest, getting lost in this forest. They're trying to find this lost girl who happens to be Fae, and they went back to the Fae land, and it was a pointless adventure for them, but they didn't know it, and neither did I until I started reading the adventure. It just kind of it proper hooked me in.
That's really interesting. I talking about like a scenario that you can like imagine in terms of, because you're sort of like living in that
Mm.
kind of area. Um, have you ever read the Troop by I think it's Nick Cutter. I think that's the author's name.
I don't think I
Anyway,
have.
it's a short book. I mean, well, it's a
Mm.
short novel, and it's basically like a scout troop that goes to some kind of an island off of the coast of like Canada. I want to say it's like near Prince Edward Island or something like that. But anyway, I was in the Boy Scouts as a kid growing up, and we'd go on camping trips all the time. And it's basically this scout troop goes on this trip, and this dude shows up, and that's when everything goes sideways. And I mean, it's not that the book was particularly like frightening,
Mm.
but it was more of like, wow, I could, as somebody who like as a kid grew up, doing that kind of stuff and kind of understanding the what the environment looks like and everything like that, I kind of felt like I was living that experience.
You could visualize the.
Yeah. And so I felt that's what made it so scary for me was like, wow, this feels like this could really happen on some level. So I can totally relate to you when you say that it feels like, holy shit, like I could be living this experience.
Mm.
And it's kind of like that idea of like going on a roller coaster where it's like you feel a sense of dread, but you know that you're safe, relatively
Mm.
speaking.
Yeah. So, so he was like, if it gets too scary, just close the.
Hmm. So what was it about Tales of Argosa then that changed? Was it the adventure itself, or was it the system, or it was a combination of the two? Because
It was definite combination. Like Tales of Argosa is just such a clean system. It's so good. Those natural 19s,
mm,
so good. It was just I was because I knew it was a sword and sorcery game. I thought I need a sword and sorcery adventure. I thought Conan
right.
one will do, and it gelled so well. Like just with the wizard spell, I can't remember what it's called. The magic this kind of like the fumbles in DCC, but
Right.
I don't know. It was
Oh,
just
dark and dangerous magic.
that's the one.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so for those who are listening and aren't familiar, so on a 19, weapons do like something crazy depending, you roll on a table depending on what kind of weapon it is. So it's like there's a bludgeoning,
Yeah.
slashing, piercing, I don't know. I can't remember. There's a whole whack of different tables for
Mm.
different things. Because Steve was like, "Listen, I like cool effects happening, and so that's
Yeah.
why I made this extra thing." And then the same thing, like with the dark and dangerous magic, when you cast spells, there's like this eventuality that you could mess up the spell, and then something crazy is going to happen, like a demon could show up or something else. Um, but yeah, usually not something good. I played Low Fantasy, which was like
Mm.
the predecessor to Tales of Argosa. I haven't had a chance to
That's right.
play Tales of Argosa yet, but I do want to. Um,
It's if you like third edition D&D,
yes.
but less crunchy and more
Right.
pulpy, then you'll probably like it. Plus, there's solo rules in it.
That was something else that like it feels like there's so many games now that are coming with solo rules. Like
Yeah.
it's I guess that just is like a testament to how popular solo is these days.
Well, that's the thing. When I started solo role playing, the usual reply would be, if I wanted to solo role play, I'd just write a book
Mm.
and okay, you do that, you do you. But because I think I don't want to say thanks to it, but thanks to the pandemic, a lot of people were stuck at home. They couldn't go to the regular tables, but they still wanted to game. And then they find out, oh, there's this whole subculture of solo role play, and I wonder what that's about. And it just blew up.
One of the things that you had mentioned earlier that I find is kind of a strange dichotomy is this. Um, it seems like there's a lot of groups dedicated to solo role playing. So it's a lot of people that talk about solo role playing. So they want to talk about
Ironic,
it,
ironic, isn't
but
it?
they want to play by themselves.
Yeah.
How does how do you square that circle
I think
or
it's just
circle
human
the
nature.
square?
You want to share,
Mm,
and you've you've played this story, and you want to share that story, and you want to tell someone about it, but you can't tell yourself because you already know that story.
okay.
So I think it's just a community thing. It's kind of sitting around the campfire type of, this is my story I'm telling tonight. That kind of vibe. That's what I get from like all these groups. It's like, yes, you're playing alone, but then you can tell people about it. You don't have to. Or you say, I solo role played today. And that's all you need to say. You don't need to go, I have written a massive essay.
Do you think that like by not sharing the story of what happened during your, so many sessions or whatever, that it
Hmm.
somehow makes them like less real, like they haven't really happened until you've told the story? Because so kind of what makes me think of this is a while back there was discussion between Runeslinger, Anthony Boyd, and Che Webster
Hmm.
from Roleplay Rescue, and they were talking about story, the game and story, right? And how we conflate
Yeah.
like role playing and storytelling. And I think the sort of conclusion of that, I could be mistaken, but was that the story is only told after the game has been played. And I
Yeah.
wonder if that's the same concept of the solo role playing, is that now you've had the experience, but you kind of need to tell the story of the
Hmm.
experience.
Yeah, I suppose it's sort of like Schrodinger's solo, I suppose. It's like, does it actually exist unless you talk about it? Um, no, I think it's natural for people to tell stories and want to share stories, and you can. I suppose it's the same thing with group games. You could have this what 2 hour, maybe 4 hour. I've heard some people have 7 hour sessions, which is insane in my mind, but
Yeah.
um, but you'll play it, but you'll be rolling dice or be checking rules, and it would be afterwards. You'd go, "Oh, it was cool when that happened, and that happened. Oh, wasn't it a shame when they died?" And that's what like. So yeah, I agree. The story happens after the game when you're talking about, it. And it's the same with solo. You'll be rolling on oracles or um, name charts or checking rules like you would in a normal game, but it'd be afterwards that you'd get your story. So I suppose that's some similarities to group play and solo play.
Do you have a like before you were using did
Hmm.
you have like a preferred way of like recording your sessions? Or was it something that
Yes.
you just did in your head where you're like, yeah, this happened and that was enough for you?
Yeah, I tried journaling or like literally writing down, and I got so bored of that. Didn't like it. And I did bullet points, just simple bullet points. Like this happened, then that happened, then that happened. Then I had to switch to my phone and I used Google Docs.
Okay.
Works the same. But I just didn't like switching from one app to the other to the other to the other.
Okay.
And then when I found out about Perm, that you could have everything all in one app, I was like, great, I don't need Switch apps or anything. And I don't know, it's something about that app that really sparked something back into my solo role playing. I mean,
Okay.
it might not be everyone's
Right. Right.
way of doing it, but again, it's just a matter of trial and error, seeing what sticks, and if it works, stick with it.
Right. Do you think though that it's like something like if you don't write down or if you don't record in some fashion your
Mm.
session that somehow you're doing it wrong or that and I know that's pretty like a pretty harsh kind of thing to say like you're doing it wrong. But I mean, you know what I mean in general like
You've
it's
got
it's important.
someone on the shoulder. The actually,
Yeah. But I mean more like because you kind of talk about how when you go to start a session, right, you kind of look
mm,
back at like kind of your notes from the
mm,
previous kind of thing. It almost feels like you kind of need to have some sort of record of what came before, unless I guess you have
yeah,
a really good memory.
yeah. For me personally, because my memory is shocking. Um, but some people can do that. They'll just, oh, I remember what happens, and good, good for you. You can remember things. I cannot. I've got too many things to think about, like feeding my children.
Mm, I mean, that can be important sometimes, I guess.
Yeah, eh, if they deserve
Dad.
it.
Yeah, right. I don't know about you,
I'm
man,
gonna
but
sound like a terrible dad.
no, no, my thing was always like, Dad, what are we having for supper? And I'd be like, we're having like this, whatever it was. And they'd be like, I don't like that. I'm like, oh my God, dude. After it got to a point where I was like, don't even ask me what we're eating. You're having food. It's my job to feed you as a parent. You're getting fed. That's all you need. You're
Yeah,
getting your sustenance.
I normally get, oh, what can I have for food? What can I have for dinner? You go, oh, how about this? Nah. How about this? Nah. I was like, well, there's a freezer there. Have a look. There's a cupboard
Mm,
there with stuff. Have a look. Oh, I can't be bothered.
yeah. I got to the point where it's like, well, what are you making us for supper? You're old enough now. That this is a thing in our house that we joke around was like, you're old enough and ugly enough. You can do it yourself. Um, but yeah, so I definitely should be getting a parenting award. Um, dude, this has been a really fascinating conversation. I'm really glad to have like gotten to, talk to you about solo and stuff. I know we talk on the Discord and we talk privately and
Mm,
stuff sometimes, but um, it's been nice to like kind of have a face to face. I played in one of your games on the
yes.
Agranac Discord. We did Fighting Fantasy. That was pretty awesome. You got a really nice crew there. Um, and I definitely
Yes.
my
Shout out to the three amigos, Wingus and the Pale Emperor.
wasn't there somebody else too there that when I played the last time? I feel like there was somebody else.
Yes, there was there's no I kind of do an open table, I suppose. I just go, I'm putting this game on
Okay.
Saturday. If you want to join, come along.
Yeah, so if you guys are interested, join the Agranac Discord and you can get into Cup of Solos game. My schedule is pretty packed. Otherwise, I would
Mm.
have played in more of your games already because you guys are doing all sorts of cool stuff and like I said, you got a really
Um,
nice crew.
I think we've gone through maybe 20 plus systems this year.
Ah, it's incredible, man. That's amazing. Like, especially because like if, for those who can see, I got mega crap ton of books behind me, and I've barely touched half of them. So I feel like the fact that you guys have like, hey, you know, I'm interested in trying this system, I'm interested in trying that, and then you guys, you do a couple sessions and get to get a feel for different things. So that's really cool, man. And I know you guys are really big on solo because I see a lot of discussion about solo and stuff like that. On our Discord, on the Dungeon Plunger Union Discord, there is a section for solo. So if anybody's interested in posting their stuff there, that's cool. I always love to check that out. Um, I know you're a dungeon master, and so like one of the things, or a game master, however you want to like identify.
I
Um,
am your judge.
just to kind of finish out the show, if you could offer advice to a novice or a veteran or both, what kind of advice would you offer?
My advice, let the players do the thing. If they say, I want to try this, so yeah, if it makes sense in the world of your world, I'm not saying I want to punch through this wall. Yeah, that's not going to happen. But if it makes sense in the narrative, just agree. Just yeah, it moves the story along, and that's what we don't want the story to just go to put on the brakes. Just say yeah.
Right. I like it. Makes sense, man. All right, Cup of Solo. This has been awesome. Thank you so much for helping plunge the dungeon this week, flushing evil down the drain. Where can people find you if they're interested in getting a deeper insider look into the inner workings of the Cup of Solo universe?
Well, I'm always there with you. Now you can find me on Instagram at Cuppa You can find me on Substack where I put my play reports, which is cuppasolo.substack.com, I believe. Or you can find me helping plunge the dungeon in the Dungeon Plunger Discord, Agranac Discord, and probably some other ones which I forget about.
Okay. I feel honored that you remember ours then. That's
Oh yes,
all
got to remember
right.
the main ones.
Yeah. Well, I'm super glad that you introduced me to the Agranac Discord because it's pretty cool, and DM Wisdom has some really cool YouTube videos that he puts out on the regular, and very interesting dude. I like his pipes.
Oh
Kind
yeah,
of makes
he's
me
got his
want to
Hobbit pipe.
Yeah, makes me want to like get into pipe smoking, but I kind of feel like, you know, I don't know if it's the best, healthiest of habits to have. Um,
Maybe
but
you can get like a bubble pipe.
yeah, you know, maybe. I don't know. Do you think I would like lose some street cred if I showed up with a bubble
No,
pipe?
yeah. I mean, you're in Canada; it'll just kind of freeze anyway if you're outside.
You know that we do get hot here too, right?
Lies, lies.
All right. Well, here I am reporting live from the basement of my igloo. Um, and I will be getting that bubble pipe soon. So remember, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, and of course on the Dungeon Plunger Union Discord. And until next time, Union members, plungers up.
Plungers up.
Ho!